Mix 101.5 Radiothon for Duke Children's continues.
Please call in your pledge right now.
Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back to the 31st Annual Mix 101.5 Radiothon for Duke Children's. We are joined by the Cools family.
Cool.
Did I nail it?
Yeah, you got
it. Yeah, Kuhls. I'm going to describe it so y'all know how special that pronunciation was. There were like 3 or 4 we were cycling
I thought
through.
it was calls, but I was wrong.
You were wrong, Sarah.
But we're glad to have you guys with us. We have Levi, who is 10 years old, with his parents, Jenna, and I've already forgotten your name because I'm terrible with names. Tim, I'm so sorry about that. Welcome. We're so happy to have you guys with us today.
Absolutely. So I want to talk to you really quick, Jenna, if we can bring the microphone up a little bit. Sorry, go ahead and step forward, Jenna. Let's talk about how Levi's journey began at Duke Children's. Take us to the moment where you walked through those doors for the first time.
Well, we had noticed that Levi had some unusual bruising on his body, his legs, under his eyes, and COVID had just hit that March of 2020. So we had to do a telehealth appointment with his pediatrician, and after taking a look at him through the computer, she sent us straight to an urgent care where we went, and they noticed his organs were enlarged. She was pretty concerned about that, didn't want us to wait for testing to be done there, so she immediately said, pick a hospital. There's 2 in the area that have hematology, oncology departments for children, and Duke was absolutely our first choice. So we went, and they were waiting for us. They were pretty quick in getting the labs. They gave us the diagnosis, and from there, they were on top of his care, his comfort, our comfort. It was a really special time because COVID was there. They were not really allowing more than one parent, just to, keep the amount of people there at a minimum. But they allowed both Tim and I to go in with him, and they were just absolutely wonderful from the very beginning.
I can imagine how weird that was, just to have anything medical during COVID. Not to your level, my wife was pregnant during COVID, and we had a ton of questions about what it would look like, and what you dealt with was so much deeper and higher stakes than a pregnancy. You've got a sick child, you don't know what's going on, and as parents, you both want to be there for them. But I remember with COVID, it was like, Can we all be there? How can I best support my child? And
Absolutely.
It's great that Duke was able to make things happen for you.
So how did they make you, because I'm sure at some point you were there by yourself. How did they make you feel supported in that time when you were carrying a big weight, being in that room with your kid by yourself?
Well, Child Life, first of all, they were there from the get-go. They came in, they brought Levi things to play with, things to do, things like, to keep him entertained. Because at the time, he really had not presented like any kind of idea of being sick. He hadn't acted sick. He had not felt bad. So to know that he was at such a high risk and, had cancer was shocking for all of us. And he, of course, at the time was 4 and did not understand any of that. But the doctors and nurses were immediate in, giving Tim and I as much information as they could, us not knowing anything about leukemia at the time. And then the child life specialists, the social workers, just helping Levi be as happy and comfortable as possible.
Yep. Well, 919-684-1015. Text Duke Kids to 34984, or go to our website right now, WRAL-FM.com, to find our link and donate and help. This child life specialist alone, like we've talked to a panel of people that work within Duke Children's, and we talked to some of the heads of child life, and we're like, what would you need donated? What do you need from our people? And they're like, more money to hire more staff. So that's the way to donate.
That's right. Make a difference right now. We are looking for donations that get to a total where we can get to 20 prep and play kits that are like $100 each, but do go a long way for young kids to understand these procedures that they are about to have. Call 919-684-1015. You can also text Duke Kids to 34984 or go online to WRAL-FM.com. Much love to Mackenzie in Goldsboro, Hilda in Durham, Connie and Wilson making a difference over the last few minutes as we talk to the Cool family. So I want to talk to Tim, the dad, for a second, because I know part of your story involves your son being in isolation for a couple weeks. And I don't know exactly what that looked like for you guys, but I'm assuming it didn't involve much interaction or your ability to like touch and physically like interact with your son. So as a dad, we are inherently wired to take care of our kids. In this moment, you had to hand off to the Duke Children's team. As a parent, what was that support like for you from the Duke Children's team to make sure that you know what, I know everything is going to be fine, even though this is a very tough moment as a parent? What was it like for you knowing that they had your back in that specific moment every single step of the way, Tim?
Well, I can tell you, starting from the day one when we went to the hospital at first, it was a very trying time for everybody. We were all figuring out how to deal with COVID and what it meant. And when we first got there, they weren't allowing more than one parent with the child in the ER. And so as this was happening, I was, out front in the parking lot. And Jenna called me, and they were preparing a pretty difficult diagnosis. And she said, I just can't do this by myself. And so Duke, at the time, we were very fortunate because they did allow me back. And they said, given the circumstances, let's get him back there and be with his family. And as a dad, that meant everything for us. And Duke treated us like every step of the way like regular people, but like family too. So when I talked to doctors or talked to security or talked to anybody in that building, it was always, well, what would we do if it was our child in there? What would we do if we were that dad? And that meant the difference for us, just as real partners in being part of the process with Duke and feeling like, okay, we're part of his team. We're part of the medical team together.
Well, you felt seen and heard. I mean, like in moments of desperation when you're just like begging to be understood. Like you understood the circumstances, but there are times where it's just like
it's isolating.
You got to break the rules. Like, hear me out. So you're just begging to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
And Duke, to their credit, they came and met you, and that created a bond, and that created a trust. And as we know in the medical community, you trade on trust.
That's right.
This is we the lay people. We don't understand all of these things that people who went to school for 10 years do understand. And what makes Duke special is, one, they empower you to make your own decisions by way of educating you about these incredibly complicated matters. But two, they give you decision-making power. They build trust and they say, listen, this is your child. We're the experts, but ultimately it's your decision and we want you to make the best decision. You can call right now and support this amazing institution in our own backyard by dialing 919-684-1015. You'll reach somebody at the phone bank. They'll take your information. You can donate that way. You can also text Duke Kids, one word, Duke Kids, to 34984. Duke Kids to 34984. As we mentioned a little bit ago, we're looking for 20 prep and play kits. These are interactive kits that help children understand their diagnosis and what's going to happen during a scary medical procedure. So far, 8 have been covered. We need 12 more. They retail at about $100 a piece. So shout out to everybody who's covered a kit so far. With 24 minutes left to go, we still need 12 of those. So if you could donate and start getting into some action, let's do it.
It's lunchtime. You're out of work right now. Make it happen. Levi, you haven't had a chance to speak yet. I understand that you're very into sports. What's your sport, big guy?
Baseball.
And what do you... Yeah, that's Brian's sport right there.
Well, check that
and
shiner
Kyle.
on his cheek. That dude gets in on the action. What happened? You take a little short hop to the head? Yep, that's a yes.
You got to speak. It's radio. They can't see you, bud.
Yep. Well, I'm glad that your cheek is doing a little bit better, man. And did you play the rest of the game?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I bet you didn't. I do want to know, I've asked every kid that comes in, what are you asking for Christmas? Because sometimes the answers are pretty freaking funny. Do you not have an answer for this?
Games for my PS5.
Okay, that's right. My son is 10, and yes, that is the right answer.
I wanted to ask the mom, since you guys are still in here, you guys dealt with so much stuff, way too much stuff than any family with a 5-year-old should have to deal with. Then on top of that, like you mentioned, you had COVID. But then came this moment in November of 2022 when he got to ring the bell, which is such a signifying signature moment at the hospital. Jenna, as a mom, how exciting was that moment that all the stuff that you've been dealing with for several years at this point, you got to ring the bell and have somewhat of a normal life after all this crap that you guys had to deal with?
I mean, it was the best moment ever. I mean, we had 2 years of treatment. I want to say it was 180 some treatments over like about 2.5 years, leaving on and off. You know, it was never planned when we'd have to go into the hospital anytime he spiked a fever. We have 2 other kids. Levi has an older brother and a younger brother. You know, we would have to leave them anytime we had to go to the hospital. And, you know, he would have medications he had to take every single day, sometimes more than one, shots, oral meds. And to ring that bell, to know that he didn't have to deal with that anymore as a child, that he could just get up every day, that if he got a fever, he would be able to just, you know, deal with it like any other kid. It was just amazing.
I can't imagine. I mean, it's so hard to get my son to take his allergy medicine. I can't imagine the mountain of things that you've had to do. You're a pretty special guy, Levi, and your parents you guys are incredible, and we appreciate you coming in today. And we hope you have
Thank you.
The best Christmas ever. Get Robux if you want those, or I don't know what your game is, but
you probably is MLB The Show.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
know.
That's why you got the PlayStation, because you can't play that game on Xbox.
Okay, I'm sorry. I am lacking in knowledge, but we hope that your Christmas is everything you want. Thank you so much for your time, everybody.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
and if you want to donate right now, we're still looking for, I believe, 10 people to step up and buy these prep and play kits that help kids understand the procedures they're going through. Call 919-684-1015. Text Duke Kids to 34984, or go to our website, of course, WRAL-FM.com. It's the Mix 101.5 Radiothon for Duke Children's.
Blanton's Air, Plumbing and Electric.